Okay, it is 6:30, and I will call Committee of the Whole for July 25th, 2018 to order. First item on the agenda tonight is item 3.1, secondary plan under planning and development.
So this evening we have the public hearing as it relates to the development on Centennial Drive North of the secondary plan as was submitted by WSP on behalf of Manitoba Housing and Renewal Corporation. We've given first reading to this bylaw on May 14th, so now it's our recommendation to bring this bylaw back for second and third reading.
Any discussions on this? Yes.
Just a question of clarification. I was confused a little bit about whether we had one or two secondary plans, and by our information tonight, it seems we only have one we're referring to. So I'm wondering about that second document that showed up in our information. Is it no longer there?
Sorry, I'm confused.
Yeah.
Well, there was one based on August 2017 and one based on February 2018. And February 2018 is that. Now that's
the new one. This was the draft. That's the new one.
this is the what?
This is the draft. It says draft on it, and this
Yeah,
is the actual
I know.
plan.
That's the actual plan.
But were we ever referring to this one in anything tonight? I don't believe so.
It's the same.
Because
Same
what-
plan, yeah, it's the
Yeah.
exact same plan. It's just the one that we're giving second and third reading is the completed plan.
Oh yeah, this is the official. What I'm looking for is which one's official. This one has the February 2018 version.
Yes, the one that's
the one I
attached to your
believe.
meeting, yes.
That's what we dealt with in the hearing, and this is what
Yeah.
we deal with going forward. Okay,
February
thank you. I will
26,
dispose to
2018.
the other one and not confuse.
For sure. No, February 26, 2018. So we're okay to
let's
bring
move it
forward the
for
bylaw?
second and third reading, yeah. 3.2, Swan Creek Holdings Limited, receiving home.
So the receiving home had received extensions to their development on Bell Avenue. I know they had some issues with respect to their financing, and I also noticed that they have got their buildings on site right now. The developer is wanting to start construction, and I did have a chat with them and said, just settle down because you're nearing your deadline, and I know you're not going to meet your deadline, and it needs to come to council before you start spending a bunch of money on it. What they're doing is they're asking for a 6-month extension, which I don't believe is unreasonable if it means we're going to get the development. They've actually got the picture up on the property too now, which is nice to see. So 6 months I don't see as being an issue. However, if they're going to be looking at anything further, I think we need to renegotiate that agreement if they don't meet their phase by 6 months. Granted, their phase is basically consisting of getting service to the area. They're going to have to do some upgrades there and getting the foundation for the building done. And just their plans in there.
So there is some evidence that things are
Yeah, they've been
finally starting to
working
look
with us, and
I see a
again-
fence up in a building and,
Yeah.
you know, we're.
And I understand, like, sometimes the design and stuff gets a little bit of setbacks, so the financing is, now they believe everything is in place, so rather than tell them, yeah, go ahead, it was like, you need to come back to council and get the extension.
Okay, so they're gonna apply for extension, or they?
That's what this is, yes.
Okay, so we'll have it at our next.
Yeah.
Okay,
So they're recommending a 6-month on both ends.
right. And you're okay with that, but let's not.
I'm okay with
Yeah.
that, but if it goes beyond this, I think we need to have a sit-down with them and renegotiate the contract.
Okay. Everything okay, everyone okay with that?
The one comment that I've made before is that I don't necessarily feel this has to come back to us once the decision's been made, and that these guys here can make the decision. My only comment on that, much like the Lake Lot, if people want to renew, there needs to be a monetary charge. So I don't know if you base it off assessment or how you come up with that, or something
Or just a
that's
flat fee for
a
all
flat fee, but
properties.
in this case, it would be different than a regular lot, right? So I don't know if you, frontage, I don't know, but it should be something that there's some direct relation to what your tax bill would be should your building be in place.
This was
in my
actually,
opinion.
because of this particular construction, that's why I do have it back here, is because this was a pretty big contract that was negotiated through council, and this has been extended in the past. Sorry, I'm not ignoring you, I'm kind of looking around. It has been extended in the past, and that's why I didn't feel comfortable making the decision on my own, but I believed it was something that the council needed to be aware of. But yeah, I don't disagree with you, Alan. We do need to start imposing because this
We
does
really do.
take extra work.
Yeah.
Wouldn't maybe be a bad idea to set that as a bit of an action item.
Yeah.
Not that I'm anticipating that they wouldn't actually meet the goals, but it's a large project, anything could happen, and it might be a framework for future development. Like, it need not necessarily be a discussion that is centered on this particular development, but to have that discussion now as it relates to future larger developments, and, you know, then there's a framework in place for a conversation if they reach a point where it's like, hey, you know, you're not going to meet the extension deadlines here, so. And it gives them an opportunity to understand what that means.
And, you know, and if they know, you know, there's a 99% chance if they ask for an extension, they're going to get one, then they're just going to keep doing that. Little speculation could be going on, all this kind of stuff, not in a big hurry. So you just hit them in the pocketbook, and then all of a sudden it matters.
Yep.
And so that should be an action item, I agree.
For sure.
Okay, perfect. All right, 4.1, special service levy.
So Way to Go Consulting provided us with a fee of $25.75 plus their cost for travel, etc. They're looking at, the deliverable is to determine the format to be used for an open house and discuss how information will be shared, create charts. They want us to do that. They'll give us the information. We print the stuff out. Preparation of a list of multiple choice questions. They'll provide us with the questions. We prepare the documents for them. And they'll facilitate an open house from 3 to 9 on a mutually agreed date. What do you see as being a good time of year to be doing this?
Can we, I'm sorry that I wasn't here for the last meeting, but I feel like having only one date is kind of setting us up to have people complain if that one day doesn't work for 50% of the people who want to come or say that they want to come. So I'm wondering, like, does our cost double if we ask them to do 2 sessions, like maybe an evening session and a lunch session or something like that, so
We
that
can
people
probably
can...
ask. It may go up a little bit because your accommodations.
Yeah, for
but-
sure, but just that, I just feel like if we give people a little bit more options, and like for sure doing something like in the afternoon / evening would be great, but if it was 2 different days, then
To the
I
next
think...
day.
Yeah.
Do we have a program that, you know, we could have a computer set up here, maybe Graham would be at it, and a person comes in and say, hey, my address is 123, I live on ABC Street. What's this going to do to my taxes? Okay, you know what, they're going to go down $87 or they're going to go up $106. There you go, now you know.
Yep.
Because there's just so much speculation. Like there was, I'm all for it, I'm all about criticism. I don't mind being criticized. The process we went through last time was flawed, and so there was some criticism about that. So, you know, if we're going to, but if you're going to criticize, spin it around so that there's a solution. And so I was kind of surprised to read that there was a big criticism, but in the paper, but there was no solution. So I think we're being very forward in our thinking. We're trying to find the best deal possible for the taxpayers of the town of The Pas. And so if 43 levies are being put out there in the tax year of 2018 across this province, then they must be working. There must be a good thing about them, and that's what we're looking forward to doing. So I would look at a couple dates myself and see what we can do. But we need to move forward on this and not just put it off and just put it away for another council. We need to deal with this.
See, here's my fear timing. Summertime, everybody's complaining that it's summer. September's election already. That's when you're starting your campaigning and everything.
So have it mid-September at the latest, and then that's not really election season,
Yeah,
right?
it's kind of where we're at.
Yeah.
Further to Jim's,
Taxes are always an election issue.
I was going to say, further to Jim's comment, where I think we didn't relay information last time, is that grid should include the education property tax credit
Yep.
on there, the seniors
Yep.
tax credit, and then there's a second seniors tax credit depending
Yeah.
on your income.
Completely agree.
You get a good idea.
Yeah. But just absolutely transparent. Okay. So we're gonna get
Yep.
this moving? Okay.
Yeah, so we'll look at mid-September to accommodate the best, provide the different options, have Graham be here to help people if we can, like to how it's going to affect them, and look at having one in the evening and one, say, at noon the next day.
I think we have most of that information. Like,
Yeah.
we have a fairly good breakdown. If your house is worth $50,000, your taxes are gonna go up this much. If it's worth $75,000, it's gonna go up this much. That information isn't out in
For
the
sure.
public.
Graham did a whole pile of different spreadsheets. Anything you wanted to ask him, you could do a spreadsheet on. So I'm not, I don't want to be publicly dumping on Way to Go, but I think, way to go, you're showing us how to do your job. So maybe we shouldn't be spending all that money on it, but just to get this thing rolling, I'd be okay with that. Anybody else? 4.2, sorry.
I was just gonna say, like, I'm glad we are getting Way to Go Consulting, because I know that there's been a lot of pressure on Graham to get the finances caught up and stuff like that, and he's been trying to balance these two big priorities. And so I'm glad to see that we're bringing in some help to deal with this, so that he can really focus on the finances, because it's definitely not his fault that they are behind, and I know that he's doing his best to get them caught up.
Getting there.
Yep.
Slowly, but we're getting there.
Okay, Councillor Rock.
I think with regard to this too, when we're looking at it, we need to be looking at what the timetable is to bring it into effect. Because if we're talking to people in September, it's not going to be done by the end of December, I don't think. So then you're into the fiscal year in which it applies, which creates problems for taxpayers because they can't prepare for something that they started paying on yesterday, kind of thing. So we need to roll it out in an efficient and effective way so folks don't get surprised by whatever the numbers turn out to be.
Your rollout for 2019, your rollout needs to start at the end of December, and right into January is pretty much where you need to be.
Yeah.
So that gives you or whoever's on council at that point, after the September, we need to move on it fairly quickly so that we at least have the start in December, because a lot can happen. There can be a lot of people that are against it, then it goes another step, but it doesn't mean it's dead, it just means it takes an extra step. So December ideally would be when we would start really entertaining this, to get at least phase one.
Sorry, I don't want to belabor the point, but I did have a thought about this. And I mean, one of the points that was made was, or a point to make, is that this is an education session. It need not necessarily be, here's the proposed bylaw, let's educate everybody on it. It is an education session about special service levies and what that can mean. So it should identify several different scenarios, none of which may be the actual scenario under which a bylaw is proposed, because I don't think we are anticipating proposing a bylaw for special service levy before October the 4th.
No. There's no
Whatever
way.
the election is, right? So to be clear, just so people don't think that what's happening here is we're tabling a special services levy bylaw, having an education session for it, and then potentially all waving goodbye on October the 4th or whatever. Is it the 4th or the 14th? 24th. That's not what's going on. This is a topic that we feel like our residents require education about. We want them to be engaged in it. We need them to understand how taxation can work. And so, be clear in the fact that this is education about special service levies. This is not education about a proposed special service levy bylaw. I mean, it revolves obviously around bylaws, because that's how this works. And it will no doubt include the example that we had attempted to put forward with some revisions. But to be clear, this isn't a bylaw being tabled with an education session to be followed up by some massive push to get through before an election, or an expectation that what gets dealt with by the new council, whoever that may be, that there's no expectation created there, or no obligation.
Right in the proposal, their approach is an overview of the purpose and merit of a special service levy and having a conversation on it. And then following the open house, a report would be generated compiling comments and the responses that the residents brought forward.
Yeah.
So why are we doing this? Those are things we want to be able to
And
talk
then
to
if you
people
want
about.
to proceed at that point, pretty much you're going to start that in January for your 2019 tax year.
Okay, good. Anything else? 4.2, payroll and accounts.
So we would require a resolution for pay period 12 in the amount of $97,600.32, general checks in the amount of $216,907.34, and electronic funds transfer in the amount of $63,311.25, for a total of $377,818.91. $58,800 is from Morgan Fuels. And as I'd mentioned earlier, there's some odd checks that are in our check listing, and those are from the Moffett Fund. We now see those. Those used to be done by KRC, and there's one that you'll see in there that was $15,000 for Rosie Main Committee, and that's part of the Moffett Fund. So those checks are now going to be going out.
All right, any questions? Okay, have a resolution to pay the bills. Deputy Mayor, let's move this in camera.
Be resolved, we now move ourselves in camera portion of the committee of the whole with Mayor Scott and the chair to discuss matters requiring our attention.